Hi, I'm Marcus LeVere. I'm a visual effects supervisor here in Vancouver, and I work for FuseFX. Well, I grew up in Ghana, and at 5 years old, I moved to a small town in England called St. Leonards-on-Sea, very quaint and quiet town. I thought I was a bit of an inventor when I was in school, did a bit of photography. Then I eventually, realized I could spend all night playing video games. So I thought, oh, I'll get into video games. Didn't get a video game tester job. So then I went to university. So did university in Manchester and London. And then I won a couple of awards because I was very keen. I used to stay there all day, all night. They gave me a key. I didn't go home for holidays, the whole thing. And won a couple of awards on my penultimate year. So I took this money I got from the college, jumped on a plane with a backpack and turned up in Santa Monica. And I just got a list of all the VFX companies in LA at the time. And I just went through every single one, cold calling them saying, I'll work for free, can I help? And the very last company said, okay, come in. And that was POP Film in Santa Monica on 9th in Arizona. So I turned up there with not a backpack on, but I skateboarded there. And I interviewed with a guy who shouldn't have been interviewing me. I think he was in the IO department or something. And he said, yeah, we'll get you hired. We'll come on. I later found out he got in trouble for doing that because he wasn't allowed to do that. So it was a complete luck. And I just stayed there and for my summer internship, which was a J1 visa back then. Did the summer there, and I think by the final week they realized I knew how to use Maya because I was just buying cigarettes and Jumbo Juice and stuff. So I finally worked on a commercial. I was doing some Daisy or something the very last kind of week or month or something. I went back to England and finished my last year at university, and they let me come back. So I obviously wrote to them again. So I got finished. They said, yeah, sure, come out. And I went back out on a J1 visa. I stayed on a J1 visa. I was super lucky because after that visa, there's a big bridge to do I think it went straight to H1B then. And there's a big gap where you can't make any money. And they were really helpful. I probably can say that now because that company's not in business anymore, but they were like paying me under the table to keep me around. It was amazing. Like the CEO of the company, like managing director, was giving me like little pieces of money in an envelope. It was amazing. And I was the only one. I was the only intern. They had no other. Actually, there was one Indian guy, but he was in a different program. And yeah, so I just worked my way up. I got the H1B, just kept working, just read manuals at night because I was just super nerdy and read all the forums and just kept hammering at it. And by, I think, the 7th year, I was a CG supervisor on commercials. But as usual, we're underpaid, right? So H1Bs are always underpaid. Yeah, this is the way it goes. So eventually I left and did a couple of years just freelancing around LA. Then I got into animated features, did some time at Animal Logic in Sydney and ILM Singapore. Then tried another failed startup because I always love doing those. That's another long story. And then came up here to Canada to work on Netflix shows and other Amazon shows and stuff like that, supervising. Since by me all these years, it's a bit of a cliche, but my dad was an amazing person. My mother was from Ghana and my dad was like a Cockney English guy, and he was in the Second World War. Just that could be a long story in a book in itself, what he went through and what he saw. He didn't talk too much about it, but after the war, he kind of traveled around Africa building bridges and big windows and stuff. It was kind of amazing. And he worked his way up to become a site superintendent and was in charge of building very large hospital complexes all across Saudi Arabia and England. And I saw how he had traveled around in his life, and it just was like, okay, of course I'm going to travel around and work on my life. So those are the big things, just like leaping into it and not being scared of. He specifically told me, actually, just go for the job and you will learn it as you get into it. He just said, there's like one afternoon probably, he just said that to me, and it's always stuck in my head. Yeah, so I just followed that. I think that's what did it. It's obvious. It's buy Bitcoin. And don't sell any of it. Buy Bitcoin and don't sell it. I used to meditate many years ago, and I've had to really get back into it. So that definitely helps. I would recommend the Waking Up app. You can, I believe, you can email them or click a button somewhere on the app, and you listen to them for about 3 minutes, and then you get the app for free for a year. And it's got hundreds of meditations on there, guided meditations and guidance. And I definitely like the Stoic philosophy part of it too. That's really good. And do a bit of yoga. But certainly, I think I'm a bit lucky. I have a bit of a personality that's a bit of an optimist, and I'm going to wash it away, let it wash off my back, much to my wife's chagrin, I think, because it's obviously things are going badly sometimes. But I'm like, everything's fine. She's like, no, this is not fine. But yeah, meditation, I think, is the one. I think that's now what's really helping me, because COVID's been hard. It's been hard on everyone. I've got a little baby and a little boy, and having them all isolated was really tough. So I think spending even just 10 minutes a day, just a little bit of time, and having some time to look back at yourself a little bit and realize there's no one actually watching, which is always weird.